Okay, Unit 8.1 test review. So it says find the least common denominator. You don't actually have to simplify these, you're just finding the common denominator. So we're going to factor both denominators. X plus 3 can't factor, but this is a perfect square minus a perfect square. X times x is x squared, 3 times 3 is 9. So I can rewrite this as x plus 3, x minus 3. So they have x plus 3 in common, so that's part of it. And this one has x minus 3, so we have to give this one x minus 3. So x plus 3, x minus 3 is my common denominator. Okay, here we have 6 and 30, which 6 can become 30. And if you're not sure, you can literally do 30 divided 6. So it does. So we know that our number is 30. This has 3 x's, and I can't cancel, or x cubed. This is just x, so this one needs 2 more x's. This has y squared, and that one just has y, so it's going to be y squared. So remember, you have to multiply to create that. You don't have to change it to become 30, so this needs x squared. This one would need 5y. Okay, on this one again, we have to factor both. So perfect square minus a perfect square. Okay, and this I'm going to have to snowflake. So ax, a is 1, so I don't have to put it. B is negative 6. A times c, 1 times 8 is 8. Okay, what multiplies to give me 8 and adds to give me negative 6? It's going to be negative 2, negative 4. So they already have the x minus 4 in common. This one has an x minus 2 that one needs. And this one has an x plus 4 that this one needs. So there is your least common denominator. Okay, they say to simplify each expression. So remember, when we're simplifying, we want to factor and then simplify. So 4 goes into 12 3 times. And then my GCF here is 5. And those cancel, and I'm left with 4 over 5. Now here, this one's a little weird. So the top is not yet a fraction. Remember, we need a single fraction on top, a single fraction on bottom. So this becomes y minus 2 over 1 over, these need a common denominator of y, so this is going to be times y times y. So I get y squared minus 4 over y. So I'm going to rewrite the first one, change it to multiplication, and flip the denominator. So I need to factor the only piece that factors, which is this guy. It's a perfect square minus a perfect square. And I get that. So y minus 2's cancel. 1 times y plus 2 is just y plus 2 over just a y on top. So that's your answer. Okay, so let's look at number 6. Remember, we need to factor all 4 pieces. It's already put in multiplication for us. So this is going to become x minus 2, x plus 2. It's a perfect square minus a perfect square. Also a perfect square minus perfect square, except 2x, 2x, 1 and 1. So 2x plus 1, 2x minus 1, and neither of those factor any further. Well, x plus 2's cancel. 2x minus 1 cancels, and I'm left with x minus 2 over 2x plus 1. Okay, this is adding, so we have to have a common denominator. Well, they both already have a y. What can 4 and 5 turn into? Which would be 20. So I'm going to multiply this side by 5, and this side by 4. And I end up with 5, I want you to realize 20 y's everywhere on the bottom, plus 8 times 4 is 32. I don't know why I'm second guessing myself. That's right. So then I get 32 plus 5, which is 37 over 20y, which does not simplify. So those don't simplify. Okay, so on this one, we need to factor the bottom over here. Okay, this is a perfect square minus a perfect square. So I end up with x minus 1, x plus 1. And this has an x plus 1 already, but it needs an x minus 1. And I want you to realize this is subtracting, so we're going to bring that up. So I end up with 3x minus 3 minus 2 over x minus 1, x plus 1. If I simplify that, I end up with 3x minus 5 over x minus 1, x plus 1. And that does not simplify, so that is my answer. Okay, on this one, this one's kind of gross. We need to make sure the denominators match so we can add. So I'm going to factor, I'm going to snowflake both. So I'm going to do, so this is x, a is 1, b is 3, a times c, 1 times 2 is 2. So the only thing that multiplies to give me 2 is 1 and 2. 1 plus 2 is 3, so that works. So this ends up being x plus 1, x plus 2. And then this one, so I have a is 2, so 2x, b is negative 1, and a times c, 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Well, it multiplies to give me negative 6 and adds to give me negative 3 is going to be, negative 1 is negative 3, positive 2. 2 over 3 does not simplify, but 2 over 2 does, and gives me x over 1. So they have an x plus 1 in common. This one has a 2x minus 3 that this one doesn't have. So we have to give it to it. And this one has an x plus 2 that this one doesn't have. And it's a plus, so we don't have to worry about bringing up a negative. So as I distribute, I get 2x squared minus 3x plus 2x times x plus 2x times 2 all over and I can combine like terms. So I have 2x squared plus 2x squared, which is 4x squared, and then I get plus x, or 1x, over all of that. Technically we can take an x out of the top, but that leaves me with 4x plus 1, which does not simplify, so this is my answer. Okay, I'm going to do the last three on the front. So on number 10, now we have to put it in order. So when I redo this, I get negative x plus 1. Remember, we have to take the negative out. So I get x minus 1. Well, they both have x minus 1, but this one has a negative that that one doesn't have, so I'm just going to give it the negative. Now they have a common denominator, and I have negative x plus 1 over negative x minus 1, and we have to take that negative out. So when I take that out, I get negative x minus 1 over negative x minus 1. Well, anything divided by itself is 1, and 2 negatives makes a positive. Here, this is a perfect square minus a perfect square. 2x, 2x, 3, 3. So I can rewrite this as 2x minus 3, 2x plus 3. And I can also take out a GCF up here of 2. And when I take that out, I'm left with 2x minus 3. So my 2x minus 3 is canceled, and I'm left with 2 over 2x plus 3. And remember, those 2's do not cancel because it's a whole factor. I know y'all hate these. So remember, it just means you need to turn it into a fraction. And I get 1 over p plus 1 over q because we're just looking at the top. So you just have to move it down, move it down. Over, now this whole thing has to move to the bottom. Now it doesn't have anything in front, so we get 1 minus 1 over p q. No, not d, q. So we have to make these match. This one doesn't have a q. This one doesn't have a p. So I get q plus p over pq over, this needs a pq, this needs a pq, so I get pq minus 1 over pq. So when I rewrite it, remember you flip the denominator, so you get q plus p over pq times pq over pq minus 1. pq's cancel, and that's your answer. Q plus p over pq minus 1. Flip to the back. And start on number 13. So my denominators already match, but I'm subtracting. Remember, we have to bring that guy up. So I have to distribute it. So I have x plus 1 minus 2x. 2 negatives makes a positive 1. And I end up with combining like terms. So x minus 2x is negative x. 1 plus 1 is 2 over x. Well, it just cannot simplify, so there's my answer. Okay, on this next one, what can 4 and 6 both turn into? Well, 6 can turn into 12, and so can 4. So I'm going to multiply by 2, and I'm going to multiply by 3. This is x squared, this just has x, so I can multiply by another x, and it will become x squared. Now, what I do to the denominator, I have to do the numerator, and I need to bring up that negative. So I'm multiplying this side by 2x, multiplying this side by 3, and I have a 12x squared. So 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times 1 is 3. So I'm going to do this as a negative 2x times x is negative 2x squared. Negative 2x times 3 is negative 6x. And we're going to combine like terms. So I want you to realize we have negative 2x squared. The 6x's cancel each other. And then I have plus 3 over 12x squared, which doesn't have a GCF on top, so we're going to leave it. Now, these already both have an x. This is 14. 7 can turn into 14 by multiplying by 2, and now both of them will have a 14x denominator. So that gives me, bring up my negative, and that gives me 24 minus 3 over 14x. That gives me 21 over 14x, which simplifies. Alpha y equals enter, 21 over 14 to 3 over 2x. Okay, look at number 16. Okay, this is division. We're going to go ahead and flip it and simplify at the same time. So it's perfect square minus perfect square. This becomes x minus 1, x plus 1, because x and x, 1 and 1. This is also perfect square minus perfect square. This becomes x minus 2, x plus 2. Because this is 2 and 2. And this is x and x. And then we're going to snowflake the bottom. Okay, so we're going to snowflake the bottom. 2x, 2x, negative 1 is b. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Well, the nice thing is 2 is prime, so I know it's going to be 1 and 2. And the negative is going to be the 2 because that's a negative 1. 2 over 1 does not simplify. But this does. They cancel, and we get 1x over negative 1. And this guy, 2x, 2x, b is negative 3. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. This is going to be negative 4, positive 1. So I have a 2x plus 1. And this simplifies to 1 over 2. So 1x over negative 2. And so now we're going to rewrite it. Remember, the first one stays the same. So x minus 1, x plus 1 over 2x plus 1, x minus 1. Change it to multiplication and flip the next one. So I get this 2x plus 1, x minus 2 over x minus 2x plus 2. So then we cancel what we can cancel. So our x minus 2's cancel, our x minus 1's cancel, and our 2x plus 1's cancel. So we're left with x plus 1 over x plus 2. So that's that one. Okay, now let's look at number 17. So this is a lot of factoring. Lots of snowflake. So we have x and x, b is 1, a times c is negative 2. So we know 2 is prime, and we're going to have this be negative. So this becomes x minus 1, x plus 2. Okay, top right. This becomes x and x, b is 4, a times c is 3. Well, 3 is prime, 1 plus 3 is 4, so that works. This becomes x plus 1, x plus 3. So I'm going to rewrite this. We have our 4 parts. This is x minus 1, x plus 2. And now let's factor the bottom. So this would give me x, b is 5, a times c is 6. So we 2 and 3. And we didn't flip anything because it was already multiplication. So we have x, b is 3, a times c is negative 4. And this is going to be 4 and negative 1. And nothing simplifies because a was 1. And now we're going to cancel what cancels. So x minus 1's cancel, x plus 3's cancel, x plus 2's cancel, and we're left with x plus 1 over x plus 4. Almost done. Okay, number 18. It's division. We can go ahead and break apart the pieces first, though. Nothing on this side simplifies, but this side has a GCF. When I take out that 6, I get x minus 5. This also has a GCF, and when I take out that 3, I get x squared minus 25, which is a perfect square minus a perfect square. So this will actually end up being x minus 5, x plus 5. So I'm going to rewrite it. Change it to multiplication and flip. So not much actually cancels. 3, yeah, I did that right. 6. Okay. X minus 5's cancel. And I'm left with x plus 1 and x plus 5 on top. Now my 3 over 6 and my 4 and my x are going to simplify. So remember, alpha y equals enter. My 3 is the only number on top. And I have 6 times 4 on bottom, which gives me 1/8. So I have this x plus 5, x plus 1 over 8x. So you can put the 1 over 8, doesn't change anything. Okay, 19 and 20. It says simplify the and find the domain. Okay, so let's find, remember, we always find our domain first. I don't need to find a common denominator because it's just 1. what would make each factor equal to 0? Well, remember, you can set them equal to 0 and solve. Here we would add 1, x equals 1. Here we would subtract 4, and we get x equals negative 4. So we know that x cannot be negative 4 or 1. So there's my domain. And then simplify, well, the x minus 1's cancel, and I'm left with 1 over x plus 4. And you can't simplify that further. Remember, the top cannot be empty, so you always put a 1 if it's blank. Okay, number 20, we need to GCF the bottom. I mean, not GCF, factor. A is 1, so 1x, 1x. B is 5. A times C, 1 times 6 is 6. This is going to be 2 and 3. We actually did this one up there. And I get x plus 2, x plus 3. So I know I could set those equal to 0. And I can solve. X equals negative 2, x equals negative 3. So I know x cannot be negative 3 or negative 2. And then I also know my x plus 2 is canceled. I'm left with 1 over x plus 3. All right, if you have any questions, make sure you ask. Good luck.